Then there we go. Over to you. Thanks for joining us.
Okay. Hello, everyone. And yep, thank you for coming to this short, sweet presentation. Let me get started. I've not
You should be
actually had to do sharing my screen on a Zoom call website. So
yeah, so I've made you
this was probably a painful family quiz. Okay, right, let's see. Okay, can anyone see me or my presentation?
Not yet.
No. Right, let's see, hang on.
Have you accepted the co-host?
I've not had anything pop up.
Try it again.
Oh yes, there we go. Okie dokes. Right. So let's share. Oh, okay. So let's see. Is that working for everyone?
Yep, that's looking good. Thank you.
Excellent. Phew. Okay. So, right, I just wanted to go through today just a very high level overview, a quick introduction really to Google Ads. So talking about what Google Ads are, the different kind of ads you can use, the benefits, and then go through some examples of some UK-based companies that are using Google Ads and talk about what they did with them and the benefits that they saw. So first up, a quick introduction, and a digital marketer based in Hampshire. I was actually born and raised in Marchwood. My mum calls it the New Forest. I'm not sure if Marchwood is actually classed as the waterside area, but my mum likes to say she's part of the Nouveau Foray. Still got lots of friends and family in the New Forest, so lots of close ties. I launched SMEketing in 2009 and have been helping businesses ever since. I started off as quite a generic digital marketer, offering Google Ads, but also things like SEO, copywriting, email marketing, website design, and general marketing management. But in the beginning of last year, I decided to niche down and just focus on Google Ads specifically. So in terms of the Google Ads services that I offer, I can offer a range of different things, including account setup and creation, ongoing management, audits for existing campaigns, and also training for companies that want to manage their Google Ads campaigns themselves in-house. So what are Google Ads? So when a searcher enters a keyword into Google, they get the results of their search query on the search results page.
I think Victoria's frozen on us. Is that anyone else?
It wasn't just me.
Yeah.
Oh. Hello?
Yep, you're back again now. You were just about to start your first point on this page.
Oh no, I've just had a pop-up saying your internet connection is unstable.
Yeah, that's it.
I've just cancelled my contract with Virgin, and just by coincidence, ever since I handed my notice in with them, my internet's been a bit dodgy. I feel like they're purposely doing something to my internet just to annoy me. Fingers crossed it'll be okay for the rest. But yeah, so this is an example of the search results page that you may see. This is quite a small example, but it's for a search query of fitness coach. So you have all the organic results, which are the free results, and then at the top with a small ad logo at the top, you can see the paid ads there. So this is a great way of getting your website at the top of the Google Ads search results page. However, it doesn't necessarily guarantee you'll get to the top, because you will still be competing with everybody else that's bidding on those particular keywords. So if you've got a really well-performing website, and I think probably you could probably attest to this, you need to have a good performing website in the first place. But if your website is performing well in terms of it's generating inquiries and it's making generating sales and it's making leads and inquiries for you, then Google Ads is definitely something that can help your business. Google dominates, so if you want to ensure more people can see your product or learn more about your business and your services, it has to be Google. You can use Bing, but they just don't have the reach that Google has. And because you can target searches using very specific keywords, it's a great way to get really highly targeted traffic to your site. So how does it work? Google Ads operates under a pay-per-click model, which you might have seen referenced as PPC. So it means marketers target a specific keyword on Google and then makes bids on that keyword. So you're competing with other people who are also bidding on those same keywords. So the bids that you make are your maximum bids, which is the maximum that you're willing to pay for a specific click on your advert. So if you set your maximum bid as £2 and Google determines that the cost for someone on that clicking on that particular ad is actually just £1, then your advert will show. If Google won't show that time. So there are actually a range of different kind of Google ads. There's actually 5 different types of Google ads that you can have: search, display, shopping, video, and app. So I'll just quickly go through what these are and how you might use them. So search campaigns are the adverts that you see as text adverts at the top of the results of the search results page. Here you can see the example search of laptops. These are probably the ads that you're most familiar with seeing in everyday life when you're Googling. So as I sort of mentioned, the only real way of differentiating them is because they've got that little black bold word of ad right at the top. However, you may notice that these text-based ads aren't just the only kind of ads that you can see on the search results page. On the right-hand side, you've also got pictures of laptops, and those are the shopping ads. So a shopping campaign allows you to promote your products in a much more visual way. And they can also appear in the Google Shopping tab, as this example shows. So if you've got a physical product, Google Shopping ads can get you qualified leads and sales really well by showcasing your products directly to potential customers. Next up, we've got display campaigns. So display networks ads are adverts that are shown on other websites. So Google partners with more than, it's over 2 million websites, and they actually manage to reach about 90% of all internet users globally. Flexible in terms of style, rather than just being text ads like the search campaigns. You can have animated images, text, videos, or just a static image. However, it can come with issues. They often create a large number of lower quality clicks, and you also might find that your adverts are showing on web pages that you're shown on. However, if you're careful about where you're putting your ad and you manage these campaigns closely, the display network is a really great place to get more traffic to your site, and it can really help raise brand awareness as well. And video campaigns. So these are the ads that you'll probably get terribly annoyed with when you're advert and you just wait to that point where you can click on the skip ad button. But if you've got really nice, slick videos and you've got a video that is short and to the point, it is a really good way of showcasing your products and services to a new audience. If you're creating videos for other marketing campaigns as well, it's a really good way of testing different videos. If you've got a video or a couple of versions of the same video and you want to test it out, this is a really great way of figuring out what generates the most engagement. So they come in a couple of different formats. So you can have the skippable ones, and the also the ones that you have to sit through and watch, which are the unskippable ones. And you can also lay other content on top of your video, things like call to actions and additional messaging, like you can see in this example here. And finally, app campaigns. These are probably the most sort of unusual ones because it is just specifically for companies that have an app that they want to promote. So you use these adverts to help drive app installations and encourage app purchases. So these kind of ads are largely managed by Google. They are quite straightforward to run. You just submit a couple of lines of ad copy, some visual assets, a campaign objective, a budget and a bid. And then Google will build your adverts for you and will optimize them based on where they're placing those adverts. So if they're placing it in the Google Play or YouTube or the display network, they will create those adverts for you. And then they'll continue to use their machine learning, as they call it, to optimize those adverts to encourage as many conversions as possible. So if anyone does have an app that they want to promote, then this is a really great way of doing it. So how much does it all cost? So the average cost per click in the UK is between 48p and £1.95, but that really does vary depending on your industry, how competitive it is. If you're targeting clicks in the UK, that's fine, but then clicks in the US can often be much higher. I've got one company who aren't really doing a lot of Google ads at the moment because they're a Safari agency and they're struggling at the moment due to COVID, but they were paying, I think their clicks for the term Botswana Safari was something like $25 a click. So, you know, you can get prices that are extortionate for really, really competitive terms. But in the UK, I think anything between, you know, a pound, couple of pounds is quite typical. But the cost of your specific ad click really does depend on more than just the bid that you put forward. It depends on things like the quality of the page that you're sending people to, how well your ad's been created, and then obviously how much you're bidding on compared to your competitors. So really the cost that you pay per click does vary depending on
can I walk
sorry lost my train of thought there. So yeah,
Victoria, I think everything's frozen for a second, but I think we're still with you.
okay, you hear me?
Yes, I can now.
Okay, so yeah, so the cost you pay is all based on the ad auction system. So it's quite a complicated system, but roughly, so Google will compare your ad rank compared to every other company that's targeting those same keywords. So you don't necessarily have to have the highest bid for that keyword. So for example, if one company is bidding £2 and you're bidding £1.50, if your advert is better worded and you're sending them to a better landing page and your campaign in general is well structured and well optimized, then you could be charged £1.20 for that click and get the top spot, whereas the other company who is bidding £2 might get the second spot and be charged £2 as well. So it does depend on a variety of factors. It's not just a case of, well, I've got the highest maximum bid, therefore I'm gonna get on top. Google really does reward campaigns that are really well managed, which is why it's often outsourced to people who know what they're doing a bit more. So the better the campaign, the less you pay, and the more likely you are to achieve your return on investment. So what are the benefits of Google Ads? Well, firstly, they're highly scalable. So one of the trickiest things that a lot of marketers face is finding lead sources that scale. So meaning it doesn't require 5 times as much effort to generate 5 times as many leads. Whereas Google Ads is excellent in this case, because if you've got a campaign that's converting really well, there's no need to cap the budget. You can just increase the budget and the chances are that you'll see an equivalent amount without really any extra effort other than increasing a budget. So being highly scalable is one of the key benefits. And next up, they're measurable. So compared to a lot of traditional marketing like TV and magazine advertising, online marketing in general is much more measurable. And Google Ads is one of the most measurable types of online marketing you can get. The amount of data that you will get from your Google Ad campaign from the back end really is quite crazy how much you can see. If you use Google Analytics as well to complement them, then it's even more crazy the amount of data you get. It's kind of scary. So it's really, really good in terms of being able to see what works and what doesn't. For example, if you're using social media, it's really hard to analyze the return on investment in that, because it's really hard to see if people are coming to you from social media and how that's generating leads and sales. Whereas with Google Ads, it's much more transparent, and the amount of metrics that you get and really see at a really granular level what's working and what's not. So you're much more likely to get a return and to be able to prove a return on investment as well, which is one of the things that a lot of marketers, sometimes you know that something's working, but you just can't really justify why. Whereas with Google Ads, you have all the data there. They're flexible. So Google Ads provides a ton of options that you can use to customize your campaigns to your particular needs. So you can really hyper target the exact audience that you want to reach. So things like age, gender, the device that they're using, the location all the way down to the postcode, the time of day that they're searching. I mean, there's so many different aspects that you can tweak to make sure that you're really targeting just your specific audience. And Google Ads might actually convert higher than organic traffic. So organic traffic is great because it's free, but research has shown that paid traffic can convert almost at twice the level as of Google organic results. One of the reasons for this is because of the targeting that I just mentioned. The chances are that the people that you reach via your ads are much more commercial in their intent, as opposed to potentially informational and very high level researching. So the clicks that you get are probably higher quality, which means that they're more likely to convert. Google Ads are faster than SEO. So I don't know if anyone's familiar with SEO, but SEO, which stands for Search Engine Optimization, which is the process of optimizing your website to rank well for particular keywords. And that's what the organic, the free listings, that's what you're working for, basically not having to pay to get people to visit your website from Google, which is really good. And it's a really important aspect of online marketing, but it can be quite tricky, SEO. Especially for new businesses with new websites. It can often take ads, the moment you create your campaign and you make it live, you can start getting clicks and impressions literally that same day. Can everyone still hear me? I've had another unstable internet pop up. Yeah. So Google Ads are a great workaround for new businesses because you don't have to wait around so long to see your results. So whilst you're working on your SEO, you can have your Google Ads starting to feed that traffic into your website. It's also a really good way of testing whether or not a keyword is worth investing for in terms of your SEO. So if you can see that a particular keyword is converting well, then in your Google Ads, you can then take that knowledge and think, okay, well, I'm going to start creating content and start optimizing my website for those particular keywords, because I already know instantly that it's working in your Google Ads. So that's just one of the ways where Google Ads and SEO can actually work really well together. Number 6, it's usually easier than SEO. So SEO takes an awful long time. It's a constant investment in terms of adding fresh, regular, creating all that content can take a lot of time and effort, and you have to have specific knowledge of your products and services, and it can be a lot more difficult to outsource than Google Ads. Whereas managing a Google Ads account is a lot more straightforward if you know what you're doing, and it can be easily managed by someone who's not quite so closely connected to the business. The training on Google Ads is also much better. There's a lot of information about SEO online that's contradictory and a bit iffy, whereas Google Ads is a lot easier to learn. Google themselves have really good online training. So if you wanted to learn about Google Ads yourself, it's a lot easier to do than SEO. And Google Ads are dominating the search results page. So Google Ads accounts for about 97% of Google's turnover. So they obviously have a invested interest in making sure that people are clicking on the ads. So the search results page is over time has really evolved so that so different types of ads, so you've got your shopping ads, your search ads, they're quite often dominating the entire screen before you can start scrolling all the way down to get your organic results. So although that's incredibly frustrating for people doing SEO, and sometimes it's annoying for users themselves, if you are investing in Google Ads, it's a good thing for you. So that's good. And Google Ads also work really well with your other marketing channels and your other marketing efforts. One example of this is remarketing. So remarketing is where you track your past visitors to your website with a cookie. So they might be people who found you via social media or through your blog, or maybe they've clicked on a link in your email newsletter. So your display ads will then follow them around the internet. So your brand and your products stay on top of their mind. For example, I need a spare pair of glasses and I don't want to pay a lot because they're just a spare pair. So I've been on lots of these online prescription glasses websites. And now everywhere I go on the internet, I see adverts for glasses popping up everywhere. So it's a really good way of just re-engaging with people who maybe didn't convert on your website first time round. You can also show people the exact product that they were looking for, that they were previously looking at. So Amazon is a really good example of this. If you're ever on Amazon looking at random potato peelers or something, you may then find, pictures of that exact potato peeler following you around the internet. So retargeting ads have a really high return on investment because you're already connecting with an audience that have a specific interest in your product. So I now want to go through some examples, just some case studies, just to take you through some UK-based businesses who've used a range of different kind of ad campaigns. Their goals were, what they did, and the results that they had. The first company are Nobbles and Bobbles, are a UK-based company selling doorknobs. So their campaign, sorry, my phone's ringing. Their campaign was focused on creating new shopping ads, as well as reviewing their existing search campaigns to identify themes and trends. So their existing marketing was generating sales, but they needed to reduce their cost per acquisition. Specifically, they were getting a lot of clicks and a lot of visits from mobiles, but just weren't getting conversions from mobiles at a high enough rate. So to tackle this, search terms were chosen that were super specific, so things like Moroccan doorknobs, to find the customers that were most likely to convert. Then analysing the data to see which time slots saw the most conversions, and then building schedules with this in mind. Finally, adding a wealth of information to their shopping ads, including things like colour, material, and optimising the titles really helped increase the click-through rate and the conversions. So the store now regularly appears in the top 3 shopping ad results for terms like doorknobs, alongside giants like Amazon and Etsy. So that's great. And they've increased their conversion rate hugely, and I've seen a massive increase in their online sales. So they did shopping ads campaign really, really well, and are continuing to flourish. Next up, we've got Built. They are a builder's merchant. They started with a search-based campaign and then scaled it up to a wide range of ad solutions covering the entire sales funnel. So this included shopping, video, remarketing, and call-only ads. So as mentioned, the first step was centered around building their search campaigns, making sure that tradespeople were directed to their website and to their nearest branch. Then they invested in shopping and display remarketing ads. So this allowed the team to consolidate its coverage across the web and also re-engage with the people who didn't buy first time round. It was also a really great way of increasing brand awareness and encouraging repeat purchases. Then to reach more customers at a much larger scale, they used some really creative and engaging videos, as well as call-only campaigns. So the call-only campaigns are adverts that are only shown on mobile devices, that rather than clicking on the ad and going to a web page, you click on the ad and it automatically starts calling the business. So those were really great at creating some like instant, high quality, valuable inquiries and leads. So through using Google Ads, they were able to achieve their online goals with a huge increase in online orders and phone calls, whilst also reducing their cost per acquisition significantly as well. And finally, we've got Decorus Salon. So this is a hairdresser based in Wales. In the early days, Daniel, the owner, and his team generated new business through their own contacts and through word of mouth, but soon realised that they needed a more complex marketing strategy to increase awareness and inquiries and bookings. So they created a pay-per-click Google Ads campaign with a budget of just £10 a day. But even with a budget of £10 a day, which is really probably the minimum that I would recommend, it does depend on your industry and the keywords that you're targeting, but £10 is probably the minimum you'd really want to spend a day. But they did manage to achieve a return on investment almost instantly from that £10 budget. They also added a call to click option, which meant that people could call the salon directly to book appointments, which worked really well for them. So with just that £10 a day budget, they were able to increase salon footfall and phone inquiries, and it helped build their client base and help encourage repeat bookings as well. So those are the three case studies that hopefully sort of give you a quick idea of how you can use shopping ads, remarketing ads, search ads to generate sales and inquiries and encourage people to your website. So a little bit of blatant self-promotion here. So if you are thinking of dipping into Google Ads, but you're just really not sure where to start or you don't have the time, then I can help. I can create a campaign for you and then hand it over for you to manage yourself, or I can manage it on a monthly basis for you. Likewise, if you are already running a campaign, but if you're just not sure if it's working for you, if you're not getting the return on investment that you're expecting, I can do a very thorough Google Ad audit for you. Or if you're a larger company and want to manage it in-house, but just want a bit of training for the person or the team who are going to be managing it, then I can come in and go through that with them as well. And all my contact details can be found here. And I will also ping my LinkedIn details in the chat box as well. So feel free to connect.
Great, thanks a lot.
That's been helpful.
Fantastic, thanks, Victoria. Do just put your contact details in, because we'll stop sharing now, and then everyone can see everyone. Look, there's no doubt there's a lot more you could cover, and technology glitches aside, you've given us a lot to think about, and I'm sure we can look at, you mentioned training there, that we could put on a session for people to really spend a bit more time and to explore this a bit further, and we can discuss that offline about a session later in the year on that. So I'm sure there's a demand, but there's time for a couple of questions if anyone wants to be brave and ask a technical question or a simple question, whatever you prefer. Just wave at the camera and go for it. Andrew.
Victoria, yeah, that was brilliant. Thank you. Am I correct in thinking that the key thing before you start is to think of this word, the one keyword? So what keywords did those people use, say the hair salon and the builders merchants? What, how do you get that magic word?
Well, it's not really, well, it's called a keyword, but it's more really sort of a key phrase, really. So it's an example of what people would be looking for when they're searching for your business or services. So, for example, the builder's merchant, it would be a list of their most popular products. It would be a list of general things, so specific stuff that you can buy at builder's merchant, screws and bits and planks of wood, and then it would be at that level, but then also a little bit higher level, it would be things like I can't think of the terms that people might, I'll use the hairdressers, that's probably something I'm more au fait with. So for hairdressers, it'll be things like, hairdressers near me as a keyword, and then you'd set your radius as, maybe 10 miles within the location of your hair salon. You'd have things like gents hairdressing, kids hairdressing, depending on the services that you offered. So you don't just bid on one keyword, you bid on a whole range of different keywords that people might be searching for. And Google also do different keywords sort of matching types. So for example, if you were selling, so sorry, what's your business?
Conveyancing searches.
Okay, so yeah, so you potentially have conveyancing services.
Searches is a bad word, unfortunately.
But yeah, conveyancing, New Forest, conveyancing searches, near me, and then Google could also, so if you had the term conveyancing searches as a keyword, if someone searched for the phrase, I need conveyancing services in Hampshire, your ad would potentially show up for that key, even though it's quite a long key phrase, because you've got the conveyancing searches as your keyword.
Yeah. Okay.
So although someone's typed a load of stuff before and a load of stuff after, your ad would still potentially show. So in the early days of a campaign, you'd sometimes keep your keywords quite generic and broad, and then you'd really keep an eye on what there was a report called the search terms report, which you can see exactly what people are typing into Google to generate your ad showing. So then you can see what they're searching for, and you can say, okay, well, that's relevant, that's not, and there's ways of adding the ones that aren't relevant and removing those and saying, I don't want to show for these searches, but this and this, these are good keywords that are relevant to me, so I'm going to add those to my keyword pot, as it were.
Okay.
So you can slowly start, as you start getting the data in from the clicks, you can slowly start to build the pot, as it were, but then also reduce the pot. So you filter out the keywords that aren't relevant, or maybe word and they're landing on your website, but then they're leaving straight away. You sort of think, okay, well, I thought that might be a relevant keyword, but it's actually not. So I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to add this, and this to the pot. So that's why it does require ongoing management. It's not just a case of setting up a campaign and then letting it run, because there's a good chance you'll be getting all kinds of random keywords. Your ad will be showing for a range of keywords that just aren't relevant. So I hope that helps.
Great, thanks a lot. I think time for one more from Jane.
I was just going to add to that, Victoria. At the beginning, it can be really useful, can't it, to pretend you're doing it for yourself and try out lots of search terms that you might think you would use for your own, for what you think you've got, and see what comes up, because it's another way of building that picture of how businesses are getting up there for their different keywords.
So one of the things I always do is do a Google search to see lots of other competitors and people offering the same services, and then that's a relevant keyword. If it brings up a load of random stuff that's not quite right, then that's not. But there's also loads of free keyword tools that you can use. Google has one themselves where you literally just put your web page or your website into it, and you say, this is my website, tell me what keywords you think are relevant. So as long as you've got a website that's been well written, then Google will be able to extract what it thinks is relevant, and then you can see it. Yep. Those are keywords that are all good for me, and build it from there.
Right, thank you. I think David, you had a quick question.
Yes, I did. My concern is if everybody's working on their good wording of their ads, and everybody's also been working on having the best landing page, how on earth do you avoid getting into a Dutch auction? Because let's face it, Google, they're obviously a small, hard up company that needs lots of money. So you can see why they would go for the highest bidder each time.
It is tricky because you will never know what any of your competitors are actually paying per click. But I think Google obviously has an interest in making it affordable and ensuring that people get a return on investment from their ads. Otherwise, if it's not working, people will stop using it. So I think, there are industries that are really, really very competitive, and you will be paying quite a lot for those keywords. And that's probably, because there's 100 people bidding on those same keywords compared to if it's more niche and you've only got 5 people. So it is a difficult thing to sort of manage. So one of the things that I do recommend to people, as well as doing your Google ads at the same time, is working on your website. So if you were able to generate 100 clicks to your website for, if you had a budget of £100 and you were paying £1 per click and you got 100 visits, if you had a 2% conversion ratio on your website, you'd get 2 inquiries for your £100. Then if you can work on that landing page and you can increase the conversion rate up to 10%, then for that same £100, you're getting 10 inquiries. You could have the best set up ads campaign in the world that is, got the best adverts, it's got the best targeting, it's got the best keywords. But if your website doesn't convert and it's not a high quality web page that you're sending people to, it's kind of a waste of time. So it is something that works in tangent with each other, having a good ad campaign and having a good website, and then hope, because not everyone does have a good website. There are so many awful websites nowadays still, there shouldn't be. I'm sure, Chris, you probably see your fair share of people coming to you and you're like, oh God, your website, this is 2021, how's your website still look like this? Because there's so many bad websites.
Oh, I think we've lost.
So it isn't necessarily an even like, and you are working on improving your ads, then you will do better than the people who just set up a campaign. Because there's so many people as well. I get an awful lot of people coming to me who've had an ad campaign created, and then they maybe had an agency set it up, and then they just let it run and they haven't touched it in a year. And those same ads are just, not performing well for them. And that happens all the time. So you might think that everyone's out there optimizing their adverts and doing the best they can, but really they're not.
Great, thank you very much. That brings us to 4:59. So we've got a few seconds left for me just to remind you of the Brilliance in Business Awards that were launched last week. Please don't hold back. Please don't be shy. Just put yourself forward for every single award, assuming it's relevant to you. But have a good go at it. We've had, 20 nominations in so far, and I would hope for maybe 200 or so. And so do go for it. Have a good look. It's all on our website, NFBP. Click on the awards button. You can see all the 14 different categories. You can see all the what's required. And just one clarification, you can nominate yourself. Some people don't think that they should, but yes, please do. And you can nominate other businesses. And it doesn't matter if you can't answer all of the questions, because we will ask that business if they can fill in the blanks. So don't hold back, please. Please nominate, because it's already the 8th and the deadline is the 1st. So I look forward to having all of that. And I will let you know about the face-to-face meetings, including the chocolate event. I see it's just been mentioned there. Can't be from you, Elaine. You've just, with all you're doing at the moment, that's going in the right direction. But no, anytime soon, we'll publish more details about our forthcoming events. Thanks for joining us. Next week, Lizzie Oakley from the Solent Apprenticeship Hub is back. Victoria, thank you so much. And if you can just stay on a second, then we can talk about what we can do next to do something in a bit more detail. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Great. Victoria, it's so frustrating for you with the internet situation, but
I know it's always fine until the one time when you just need it to
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, I mean, fortunately what happened when it froze, it carried on from where you stopped. So we didn't really miss any content. It just paused every now and then. But no, thank you for that. And you know, we do social media training and all sorts of other things. And if you felt you would like to support a, you know, well, the other model that we do is an hour-and-a-half session where there's an hour's content. So there's the usual gathering and networking, and then we have an hour to get into something in a bit more detail. You know, that would be really good. We would pay a fee for that, of course, because people would be paying to come.
Yeah.
And it just gives people a bit more chance to explore that in a, you know, in a face-to-face sort of way. And then, of course, hopefully you'll pick up some business off the back of that too. So,
Yeah.
So, you know, if I just make some suggestions, I don't know if you're getting out and about yet, or if you're still in isolation or hiding at all.
No, no, not in hiding. So yeah, definitely happy to.
And whereabouts you based?
I'm in Southampton actually, so just outside, just sort of up Shirley Way.
If we do something in that direction, then because we use lots of different member venues, so we could do something in Totton or something. And yeah, that would be really good. Or in Marchwood, of course.
Yep.
So that would be really.
We'll go around my mum's house in her garden.
Definitely. Yeah, but no, thank you. You know, as often happens, people will have gone away and thought about it. Hopefully, you'll get some contacts. You know, and just keep spreading the good word about what you're doing, and
yeah, we'll do. Thank you.
Get busier and busier. Not too busy, but just busy enough that you are happy.
Yeah, definitely.
Good. Appreciate it. So I'll drop you an email. I'm just sort of working on all that, and we can see what might be possible.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'd rather use a local, you know, connected person to deliver these things rather than just someone from outside. And,
yeah.
Because, you know, then the follow-up is the key thing, because then you can meet these local businesses and get involved, and hopefully, you know, as I say, get some business yourself.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be great.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks a lot. It's not easy, summarizing something in only 20 minutes, but you did fantastically well, and I really appreciate it.
Excellent. Lovely. Thank you very much.
All right. Take care then. Have a good evening.
Bye then.
Bye.